How do we have conversations with people when we don't agree with what they're saying in a way that we keep listening to them? That's what we're going to look at here. Conversations are more and more about just simply agreeing with the people around us, because more and more when we disagree, when we try to engage in debate or discuss difference of opinion, conversations just shut down altogether. And being able to discuss different opinions, to be able to respect someone's opinion even when it's different than your own, is really a crucial skill in the workplace and in life. What happens though when we start to disagree with someone is we start to focus more on ourselves than we focus on them. Right away, our brain starts worrying with all the reasons about why we're right and all the arguments that we have to show the other person that they're in the wrong. We start to feel defensive and we're trying to prove that our point of view is valid. And what happens is it takes us immediately out of listening to the other person's perspective, even when we intend to do that, when our intention is to try to understand. So the biggest thing that we can do to change these patterns is that we have to start being able to notice the signals, the signs within ourselves that show us that we're slipping into this defensive state, because that's a state where we're not as open to listening. And it's going to happen. We're humans. It's part of human nature. The key, though, is noticing it, learning how to take a step back, how to calm yourself so you can come back in a state and re-engage in that discussion when you're not in a defensive mode. So first of all, start to notice how that feels in your body when you start to feel defensive. There's a tension in the body that you can start to feel. So start to pick up on that as a cue for you. The second thing is that start noticing if you are starting to really focus and fixate on arguments why you're right. If you notice that that's what your conversation is becoming about, it's a sign that you're slipping out of listening and into being more defensive or trying to prove your point of view when you're disagreeing with somebody. And the other thing you might pick up on is the other person may be becoming defensive. They may be arguing more and more why they're right, because it's a bit of a dance, right? One person becomes defensive, the other person does. We both start to argue why our positions are right, and there's nobody listening anymore. And obviously, communication does not work like that. So those are three things you can try to tap into to notice that you're slipping out of listening as well. So noticing that is really one of the key things that will allow you to remind yourself to bring yourself back into a state where you can listen more. Start to ask more questions. Remind yourself that the goal is to understand rather than to prove that you are right. And this is really going to help you to listen more to a point of view that is different than your own. You don't have to agree with it, but listening to it will help you to understand it. And oftentimes when we have a conversation where we're trying to ask questions and understand, we can get to a common understanding even if we disagree on our perspectives.